What's up, my guys? Sorry, I'm laughing a bit. I opened my copybook to my last page and I saw something written, so I decided to read it. And their lyrics, super fucking fun because they're retarded. But anyways, I don't know what I was thinking, but it must have been so much fun. Okay, uh, honestly, man, I really want to talk about the setup that I have right now. House setup. I'm attempting this whole, actually, let me, I'm attempting this whole get a room. It's called a huddle room, apparently, like where I work. So I'm hoping you kind of like hear me and stuff like this. And I don't know if there's any echo. Maybe I should test it out. Should I risk it? Fuck it, I'll risk it. Okay, so I've been sitting with myself and like trying to create a monthly budget, just the bare minimum. While I was doing that, I was looking at my previous notes on how I expressed my own spending and how much I would like to be spending. So here's the thought process. For me to be able to generate more money right now, I need to currently look at my expenditures and my income reflects my expenditures. It's funny because right now all I'm making is 700 bucks a month. With everything that I do, I'm only making 700 bucks a month because most of it is literally just time I spend on myself and myself, right? No, time I spend on myself as in like, studying, the working, the finishing, the engaging. And I'm really, really excited for like some of the stuff to be done for actual concrete things to happen to start falling in place. So when I and it's funny as well, like it was just random series of coincidences. One time last month, I had a conversation with a friend of mine where he was telling me that he wanted to start making money and be successful. And I was like, if you were to measure successful, what would it make? And he was like, just me feeling comfortable, not having to ask for money and working the job that I want. So there are a lot of complicated questions I could have asked back then. But the simplest one that I asked that kind of shook me was like, if I were to give you money right now, how much do you need to become comfortable? And he looked at me and he was like, just for expenses. And like these answers that are not actually directed anywhere. So the more I talked to him, the more he kind of like, the more he explained to me how completely like clueless he was. And then I realized something. I go like, right now, for you to kind of like live comfortably, you kind of need income, you need savings, you need some form of investment, and you need some form of maintenance. And I structured them in a cute way because as I was talking to him, I wanted him to understand that there are things that you need to know that make you comfortable. And ideally, his ideal number was $2,000 a month, and I'm like, if $2,000 a month for you, like these are your money, right? But how much money would you want to be spending on your house? And from like rent slash electricity and all that stuff. And he goes like, well, at least 1,000. So I looked at him and I was like, so from 2,000 you keep 1,000, right? So that's what you spend the rest of the month. And he looked at me, and goes like, no. Suddenly he wanted 3,000. Then I go like, no. So if you're gonna save money, how much money do you want to save? Because like on average, I would love to be saving about $1,000, $2,000 a month. And like, so that means that you need a $5,000 income. He goes like, yes. And I'm like, what about investment? Savings and investment are a completely different thing. Like money for investment is different than money for savings. He goes like, you're right. So we bumped it up to 7,000. And then other expenses and random shit that he might want to do. Eventually, he settled at $9,000 a month for him to consider himself successful. I laughed, but it clicked in my head. So I sorted out my ideal expenditures at the current moment. And if I were to kind of like be cool with the way I'm living and everything like this, I'll need an apartment of 800 bucks that has everything like electricity and enough electricity to turn on air conditioning, right? Because like that's an issue at this side of the world. and I need transportation, and I need a gym membership, and I need food and care and for my cats, and I need internet and miscellaneous expenses of $500 a month. I also wrote down that I would want as well to like, I don't know, I wanted to buy clothes, man. I wanted to go out. I wanted to do all kinds of things. So the bare minimum I had was 1,720, but the acceptable minimum is about 2,500, right? So given where I am right now at $700 a month, I am $1,800 far from my goal, my target. So as I was sitting and trying to like prepare for that, I started thinking of what can I do to make money? What can I do to make money? And then I realized like at this stage right now, I have accepted not being able to make money, but like ideally because all I'm doing is kind of like prepping. I'm done with the prepping. I'm done with the prepping. It's just like it's gotten to a point where all I'm doing is prepping. All I'm doing is prepping. And this feeling is coming out of me right now as I'm talking to you. It's like becoming more and more and more and more and more and more. But today I sat and I was like, what's my monthly budget right now? And the gym is $45, the workplace is $60, rent is $300, food is $210, it's $7 a day on average. And cat food is 20, and cat food and expenses is 20, and electricity is 65. So the whole, all in all, man, I'm paying $670 per month, which means I only get to keep $30 for myself to go drink a beer or coffee someplace. It's not cool, man. Not cool at all. Uh, just looking at this $30 number, given how I am living right now and the circumstance of it, I'm not liking it at all. And over the past year, every single time I've gotten close to doing something, and in my head it's close, right? Like not necessarily like something that I'm used to doing or something that I expected much from, but there seems to be a gap. There seems to be a gap with anything that's actually moving. There seems to be that like empty space. There seems to be something missing that's not really clicking these things. Now remember, like I'm actually getting a new certificate this month, and I'm starting a new like program, which is business analysis. And the goal is to hardcore just go and just start working and getting paid as a job, where everything else I do is supposed to be finished so that when I get the job, my part time would be like my the time left for myself would be specifically so I could actually work on my project. So in a way, I placed a deadline for all my preparations, which are basically December 2023. Like that's the deadline for all my preparations, where I'm like, no, I'm done preparing. There's nothing more to prepare for. All I have to do right now is just put in the work. And it's funny because like when I looked at the actual documentation that I wrote for the first time, and I'm looking at them right now, I realize all the things that I can add to them and the different thought process that I have towards it. And when I'm talking documentation, it's like between the business plan and all these things that I actually have to do for the company, for myself. And this business analysis course is definitely going to like support everything I do towards that. So legitimately, there's a lot of work that needs to kind of like explode on its own, and it will explode as I. And right now, it'll be like the focus, and I would have like finished everything, including the course that I'm taking right now. That the course that makes me that a lot, the course for the software that I'm actually using to build. So that should be a different level that I'm in. That should be a different like train of thought, a different engagement, and a different like structure where I'm actually able to kind of like engage with whatever I want to build and whatever I'm passionate towards. And on the positive side, it'll be a lot simpler simply because I already have a job, already got me a job, and I already got me like I would have already finished my degree in business analysis, which allows me to actually like get a real job and from there just like start going to forward in the hierarchy and using those skills in order to like build what I want to build. So it is literally the way I see it right now. These are the last 2 months where I'm allowed to be having this happen. And after that, I really have to consider where I could actually where are the things that I could actually like target that would completely change my current position? Because it seems like everything I'm doing is building me up, but it's not really like centering me at any points. And I feel like there's a lot of things I'm oblivious to that I need to kind of like get involved in. And for some fucking reason, they feel mundane, and of course they feel mundane, man. Because if I'm not doing what I want to do and I'm not making money out of it, then basically I'm not gonna be satisfied. So of course they're gonna feel mundane, and that's something I need to get over. Fuck me. But I wrote the budget down and I completely look at it. And I completely look at the budget that I need right now in order for me to feel comfortable, and in order for everything to kind of feel stable. So currently, man, I'm really not enjoying where I'm living. Although it's a pretty house and it's a cute house, but just like nothing about that place screams positive energy. So I'm barely spending time there. And I kind of miss my cats, even though I spend time with them, I kind of miss them. It's a weird feeling when I'm around them, man. They're super fucking cute. Love, man. It's really one of those like, Yeesh. But anyways, thank you for listening to this little bit that completely probably didn't make sense to anyone. But the rationality behind it is the fact that if you're not where you are, that means you're doing something wrong or you're not doing something right. Thank you.